Everyone's fun around. My name is Jordan. Big game tonight with Notre Dame at Miami. I'm going to do a breakdown of the teams, kind of what we've seen over the offseason, and just give you a picture of what the team should look like with these top 10 matchups. We've had to just go off pretty much speculation, some of last year's data, and then just kind of what we've heard from the spring, and try to do our best from there. So let's talk about Notre Dame, the visiting team. They are returning their offensive line, should be one of the top offensive lines in football. They're returning most of their defense, should be one of the best defenses in college football. They're returning their running back, Jeremiah Love, should be one of the best running backs in college football. The biggest question mark here is going to be the quarterback position, where they lost Riley Leonard. So Marcus Freeman, who I also think is one of the best coaches in college football, has decided to go with redshirt freshman CJ Carr. I read into him a little bit. He was a highly touted prospect out of high school. Of course, Notre Dame's going to have one of those type of guys, but he can make the right throws. It's just I read that Marcus Freeman's feels like he needs to kind of ease him into this game, and he's going to lean on the run game. He's going to lean on short throws, and just not ask too much of CJ Carr. Pretty much what Ohio State did with Julian Sayin. They leaned on the run game, even though it wasn't a lot that they got, but they got just enough, and they asked Julian Sayin just to make the easy throws. They really didn't need to open up the playbook because the defense was playing so well. That's where Notre Dame is probably going to be, looking at doing in this game. And then you have Miami, completely different, bringing in transfer quarterback Carson Beck. I know a lot of Georgia fans kind of wanted him out of Georgia at the time. And then on their offense, it's supposed to be explosive. They have a JoJo Trader, who didn't play too much last year, didn't have too big of a role, should be stepping into a huge role. 5-star wide receiver prospect, has all the tools and everything. Explosive guy. They went out to the portal. They got a guy from LSU, CJ Daniels, as a receiver who just has been there. He was also at Liberty. He's just keeps transferring. So a possession receiver that you can kind of rely on. But with Carson Beck, the offense should be explosive. He's not awful. So basically on paper, all the speculation, Miami's offense should be huge. And I'm sure they will be as the season progresses, but they have a really tough test here at home versus Notre Dame's defense, which should be a suffocating defense. A lot of experts are taking Carson Beck under on his passing yards, which is pretty low line compared to what he's capable of doing versus Notre Dame defense. They just projected to be so suffocating that I'm just worried that if they find themselves down and Notre Dame goes into a prevent, he could just kind of get a bunch of yards in big chunks at that point. So staying away from that. So going to dive into some of these picks. The first one that I really love here is going to be Jeremiah Love, over 79.5 rushing yards, minus 114. So like I said, best offensive line in the country, returning all 5 starters. Jeremiah Love, one of the best running backs in the country, preseason All-American, which I never understood preseason All-Americans. But he's supposed to have a featured role this year, and with a redshirt freshman quarterback, he should be fed early and often and rack up rushing yards. So I really like him to go over there, especially the way Marcus Freeman's talking about approaching this game. And if they have a lead late, he's going to get carries to run out the clock. I also don't hate an anytime touchdown. I know that's at minus 220. This could be something you add to a parlay or just a booster. He got a touchdown in every single game except 2 last year, so I do not hate that. He's going to be the guy that they lean on in the red zone, so definitely touchdown potential. And then before I get into the picks for the Miami and my prediction, if you guys could please like the video. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? If you haven't yet, check out the app Novig. Novig is a social sportsbook exchange. Pretty much you're not going up against Novig, you're going up against someone else that puts their odds up there and how much they're willing to pay out, and you can take that bet. You can also do the same thing and someone can take your bet. But there's usually always really good lines compared to the sports books. You can use it in all the states you see on the screen. A lot of these states are the ones that don't have Fanduel or DraftKings. And with no vig, you can bet money lines, spreads, player props, single bets. You don't have to. You're not forced to use Prizepicks or Underdog, stuff like that. So check out Novig. I'll have a link in the description and the pinned comment. Promo code's FINDAROUND11, and they'll give you $50 when you play your first $5. So for Miami, the natural game script would be Notre Dame controlling the clock and Miami trying to get something with their new offense with a lot of new guys. And we just saw with the Texas-Ohio State game, the defense carries, it translates a lot quicker than the offense does. So I can see Notre Dame coming out and being vicious. Carson Beck could have some issues, but JoJo Trader is supposed to be the guy who is the vertical threat. And then CJ Daniels, the possession receiver that Carson Beck may lean on a lot. But I do like CJ Daniels under 21.5 yards for his longest reception. So if they do go downfield, it probably more than likely is going to be JoJo Trader that they go for. CJ Daniels obviously could break one off, a catch in the middle and takes it up the field or something. But this Notre Dame defense is supposed to be for real, and their secondary is just great. Could be all over these guys. So taking him for under that 22 yards for his longest reception. And then as for a prediction, this is just one of those ones that's just like, I saw Ohio State, Texas. I saw the defenses thrive. And I'm going to go with Notre Dame on the road. I think they're one of the best teams in the country. I think Marcus Freeman is for real. And there's just so many question marks with Miami right now. They could come out and just be like a Lamborghini on offense and just tear up Notre Dame. It's just, we don't know. But what we do know is what Notre Dame's identity is. And I like that identity for them. They're going to be a tough out. So I see them going in to the U and getting a win. So like Notre Dame for minus 2.5 on the spread. And also the total points, I believe, is around 50. And what we've seen with some of these top matchups, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas, teams have been starting off really slow. The unders on those totals have been hitting. So I wouldn't hate that as well. It's just it just seems like the offenses just haven't figured things out, and it's going to take some time for all these offenses to figure things out. And the defenses, they just go out there and they just play. So if you bet on this game, I hope you guys do well. If you guys want to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. Hop on in there. Talk about college football, baseball, WNBA, all that good stuff. It's completely free, and I'm going to get this one edited and get it out to you. I know I'm filming this a lot later than I normally do, but it's definitely going to be, decent amount of hours before game time if you see it. So God bless you. It's fun around. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.